Hey everybody, I'm Greg.
And I'm Katie. Welcome to the Meeple Society. Today we are continuing our trek through our playing through our collection series. We are on episode 15, part 4 of the Seas.
And before we get started, go ahead and click the like button and subscribe and hit the bell icon if you want more content.
Yep.
So,
of course, follow us on all of our social medias.
Yes.
Please. And thank you.
And thank you. She teaches me well.
All right.
So yes, so we're on part 4 of the Seas. And if you followed any of this, you notice they're not completely in alphabetical order. We're just playing the sea games. We're not keeping them in alphabetical order.
We're trying as best we can. However, we have a lot of 3+ player games this round.
And we still didn't get them all in.
Last count was well over 20 in the sea section.
Yeah.
And we got through some of them, but we're having to piecemeal those in as we can get people to come over and play with us. So,
because 1 and 1 doesn't make 3.
Nope.
I do good math.
You learned well.
Okay, so let's get started with some easier games here before my table collapses. Wow.
Yes.
First, we're going to start off with a game called Color Slap. This is from Walrus Exclusives Incorporated. Not heard of it, though.
Nope.
But this is basically a game of war that you played when you were younger with cards.
Glorified version of war. This is one that it's color splotches.
Mm-hmm.
And the color splotches, let me get one without words on it first. There we go. There's a bunch of different color splotches in here. Some of the color splotches actually have the name of the color on them, written on them.
Good thing you didn't put the yellow one up there because that's so hard to read.
It is very hard to read. So when a color splotch, when somebody lays down a color one that has the name on it, that's when everybody tries to slap it and you get the stack if you're the first one to slap it.
The hard part is
it's
gotta have the color that it has to match the word. So
there's
black is black and green is green, but sometimes there's a green splotch with with blue written in it. So
I had one. Here we go. They're like this one. If this one comes up, or one similar to this where it's a green splotch but it says blue, your instinct is to slap it, but if you do, you lose 5 cards out of your hand. So you can't slap these ones. Mm-hmm. So it's a little tricky because you're trying to read and watch the colors at the same time. And
it's a 2-player game, isn't
it? I think it can be played
2 to 6. So you just split the deck up. There's a whole other deck in here. And you just split the deck up evenly, and you only play through your deck once.
Yep.
And the person with the most cards at the end of that is the winner.
Yeah. I mean, it's a cute little game. I can't remember what we decided to do with this one. I think we decided to hold on to it because it is just a teeny little game. But I
don't know. You don't have your book over here to look at.
I don't have my book. Hold on. And look, just like that, I have my book.
It's magical.
It's magical.
It's also magical to figure out how to use.
We did not mark to sell it, so I think we decided we were holding on to this guy. So yeah,
it's a quick, easy game.
It is, and
anybody can learn that game. It's for ages 5 and up. So I hope high school students could learn it.
We laughed quite a bit playing this one.
Yes.
So it was an interesting little game. So anyway, that's Color Slap.
Mm-hmm. Next we have Classic Waterworks. You covered up everything inside. But Classic Waterworks is basically the video game pipeline where you're trying to connect, basically.
Yeah, you're trying to connect your pipes. The interesting with this one is it comes with the bathtub, and it comes with little wrenches,
which are your tools to
fix leaky pipes.
Mm-hmm.
But you're trying to connect your pipes and make yourself a string of 15 from your faucet to your spout. And then throughout the game, you've got leaky pipes, and other players can play leaky pipes down on top of one of your pipes if they wish to.
Yep.
And then you have to either find another one like this to put back over it, or you have to fix it with
using one of your wrenches. You don't start with how many wrenches? 2?
I think each player gets 2. Yeah. So cute game. I think we're going to hold on to it because it is a classic. as the name
The box
implies.
says it's a classic. I'm not sure if it's truly a classic, but the box says it's a classic. So
it's been around for a while. So, but anyhow, that is classic Waterworks.
So next we have a little game called Codinca. This is the game that your brother and wife got us for Christmas one year.
Yeah, we've played
this is
one.
Such a tiny game. You can take it anyway.
It has a lot of strategy built into this tiny little box, let me tell you.
So we actually played this standing in a laundry room in a hotel in Daytona Beach, waiting for our laundry to get done because we needed clean clothes.
Yep.
And we actually sat there on the counter and played this.
We've played this one on a boat going in Greece. We have played this. I don't know if we've ever played it on the plane, but we played it on a tray table, so it could easily be played on a plane. But this one has a dozen different sets of rules, which is, I mean, it's nice, but it has these beautiful tiles in it, lights, or the yellow side and the white side. And throughout the game, you are trying to get certain patterns. Like, for instance, there are a number of these where this is the pattern, but everybody's is a little different. You're trying to match up your 4 tiles in this pattern, 2 whites, 2 yellows, or all of them yellow, or all of them white, or diagonal, or in a straight line, and then there's 4 corners. So you're trying to get these all matched up with your colors, and then you have special ones that allow you to do different moves. Typically, you can only swap with the one right next to you, but this, you get 3 of these in a game, and each one of them allows you to either rotate a block of 4 or to take one from one side and move it to the other side. And you just literally shift the whole row.
And once you use it, it's gone.
Yeah, once you use them, they're gone. But on the flip side of them is the trap cards. And the trap cards, again, you can only use them once and you lose them. You lay this down in any orientation against the 4x4 grid, and you can flip all the tiles to the side that matches the color, the white or yellow side. So it's just another way to allow you to meet up with these if you can. So interesting game, lots of strategy built into these 16 little bitty tiles in this little bitty box. So definitely recommend it if you want something that you can just pack in a backpack and take with you. Yeah, fantastic little game.
Okay, next is a game that we had to go backwards on, which should have been first in the video.
Yeah, it should have been. Yeah, you're right.
Is Berried Treasure. This is a game, we did not buy this game. This is a game at the Dice Tower Retreat. Everybody who came to the Dice Tower Retreat got a copy of it. This is from Restoration Games, which was the sponsor of the retreat. So they gave away everybody a game. This is a set collecting, and at the end of each round, you're going to score your sets, and then that scorecard changes to a new set.
Yeah, there's several different colors, and it's basically, the concept is you've got all these different kinds of pies that the kitties are trying to steal, and you're trying to collect the different sets. And each, like I said, each round, there's 3 rounds. Each round, each set is worth a different amount. So you never quite know what you're trying to save for, except for that specific round. But you see all the little kitty paws on these cards?
The little black dots to you.
Yeah. Never threw away the thing when we opened it up. But the little, there's there's kitty paws on the cards, on some of the cards. And if this is the card you pick up, then you get to steal
card from somebody
that many cards from somebody else of the same color.
There's up to 3 cat paws.
There's up to 3 cat paws on some of these. So it's just a cute little set collection game. I mean, it's going to stay in the collect. It'll stay in. Actually, we got 2 copies because we each got a copy for going. So we're going to keep one in our collection for the time being, and the other's going to go into the travel collection. And then we'll see. We'll see how it comes off. But yeah, cute little game. I liked it. I didn't win it, but I liked it. All right, that's Berried Treasure.
Okay, so next we have a Kickstarter we kicked. We kicked the Kickstarter we actually backed
need
2
to keep the
copies of
Kickstarter
this.
habit.
One for us. This is Cora Quest. One for us and one for our niece and nephew.
Yep.
We figured that would be a cool game for them. This was actually a school project for Cora Hughes, and it's Cora and Dan, because they were doing the homeschooling during the lockdown.
Now, Cora is, if you're not familiar, an 8-year-old girl. I don't know if she's still 8 or not. I think she was 8 when this all started.
Yeah, from Hoodsville, England.
Yep, in England.
Or Hood, I think it's Hoodsville is the way Dane says it. But it's just started as just a basic project. They were going to design a game so they could play it. And then they said, well, this would be cool. Somebody else could play it too. And Cora originally had drawn everything for it. And then Dan had brought in an artist where the artist sent a copy of one of the pictures that he drew or something like that. But there's like, whoa, this could actually happen. So it was, I believe it was the artist's idea. Let's take the drawings and we'll just colorize them and everything. And I think Dan decided, like, why don't we like put feelers out there and send it out and say, hey kids, if you want to draw pictures, bring it in. And then the artist, whose name is escaping me, it doesn't say on the box, so does it? Gary King, it says it right there.
Okay.
Gary King would take them and color them in and kind of fine tune them, but it's still basically the kids' art. Got him in the box, decided to do Kickstarter. It blew up on Kickstarter, and he just said that the copies that are going to retail now are on the ships and being shipped out now, and
awesome.
It'll be in the stores soon. So if you missed the Kickstarter, look forward to the stores. Yeah. It's a great little kids dungeon.
It is a dungeon crawl designed for kids.
Yes, with some crazy. I mean, this comes with how many adventures? 6 or 8?
12.
Okay,
I want to say there's 12 adventures in it. But they've actually built a website where you can go on and create your own heroes.
Your own heroes that you're playing with.
Yeah, and I love the diversity in this. There's a welcome mat, but these are your dungeon is built out of these cards, and it tells you in the book how to put together your dungeon stack. But I like the fact that each of these cards, one, the artwork is adorable. Not all of them are full dungeons. There's pathways that take you to places. There are secret treasures, and each of these symbols on here tell you where monsters come out, what type of monster comes out. There are spider webs, and if you reach a certain point on the track, the spider webs activate, and now you have spiders in the dungeon with you
have to deal with.
And it is just, I think the last time we played, we lost horribly. Oh, it was because we played it 2-player when you're supposed to play with 4 characters all the time. Oops.
Yeah. We lost. But we played this with our niece and nephew when we gave it to them, and they really enjoyed it.
So yeah, it was a
big chunky dice.
Yes.
Cool little characters like Healer Cat. And I mean, there's even one, I mean, they thought of everything, because there's even one, what's her name? The one in the wheelchair. Yeah. Which I thought was really cool. She's like got one of the best powers,
she does. Oh, here's her mini. Right? Yep. Nope, that's not her mini. Here she is.
There she is. I found her. Sword Girl. She starts with a broadsword.
But she's in a big old spiked wheelchair. Like, that's just so cute.
So, but yeah, just to see that the kids all over the world drew these pictures and they got into the game, and they just did another call for the Kickstarter.
Yeah, they've got a Kickstarter.
And also,
for an expansion out.
If you notice on the box, all these names around the outside of the box are the kids who
drew their names only,
drew their stuff and put it in the game.
Yeah.
So it's worth getting, even if you're a big time gamer and like dungeon crawls. It's great. It's just a fun little dungeon crawl game. That we're not big fans of dungeon crawls, but
this one is enjoyable. All right, that is
Cora Quest.
Cora Quest. Hey, look, I got it on right. Okay, without even looking.
The next game we've got is a game called Civil War, the Game of American Culture. This is basically Trivial Pursuit, just done a little bit different. Instead of the little pie pieces, you have a little board that you're going around, and you're laying flags in the areas.
Yeah, you're putting flags into this,
which is in the center of the board.
This is the center of the board, and you're putting flag pieces, which I'm not going to pull out the whole thing, but you can kind of see them maybe there. Yeah, you're sticking your flags as you get questions right. The big trick on this one, and this is, I think, I can see the appeal to it, but at the same time, I feel like it would make the game drag on literally forever. Because there are certain spaces on the board where they're called cannon fodder spaces.
Mm-hmm.
And if you answer that question correctly, you can shoot across the board to the color of the cannon fodder spot.
And land on its platform.
Land on its platform, put your flag into
one of
the piece, spaces. But you can eject somebody else's.
Mm-hmm.
The only way to win the game is to get all 6 flags out. Well, if somebody's constantly, no, there's 6.
Okay.
If somebody's constantly taking your flag out, this game's never going to end. It's a 6-player game. There's only 5 spots.
In each of the 6
categories. So if you play a 6-player game, you're going to have flags removed. You have to. So we did not play with removing the flags because I felt like it was never going to end if we did.
As most trivia games, they can be dated after all. This is from 2006.
I love the fact that it's all American culture. It is.
You've got
all
secret natures that has Native American myths and stuff, national parks. You have town halls, which is iconic Americans, president lore, dumb laws, which you got a dumb law on that.
Yeah.
Which I can't remember what it was.
I don't remember what it was now.
Country roads, just folk heroes, roadside attractions, old Western sayings. Modern airways, which is behind the scenes, radio days, stuff like that. Urban scenes, urban legends, funny sculptures or subcultures. And then futurescapes, which is changing times, origins of everyday things, technology, and future stuff. So
some of this stuff, I think. All right, so we've decided we're going to go ahead and get rid of this one. We have multiple copies of Trivial Pursuit. I feel it's a better known game. It is more likely to come off the shelf. This one does sit in the travel collection, by the way. But another reason is because some of these questions we found to be so obscure.
Yes.
Let's see here. Okay, some of these I might actually know. Okay, some of them have pretty big clues in it, like what last frontier state? I can tell you what the answer to that one is without even reading the rest of the question. But I mean, some of these are really weird. This one I happen to know only because we've been there. What legendary elixir did Spanish explorer Juan Ponce de Leon believe he could find when he discovered Florida in the early 16th century? You know what that one is?
The Fountain of Youth.
Yeah. Only because we've been there.
Don't drink the water.
Don't drink the water. But most of these are very obscure.
Yeah, it took us. I mean, the game says anywhere from an hour to 2 hours, and I can see that, especially if you're using the cannon fodder, because there's variants where you don't have to use the cannon fodder. There's also variants where you can decide how many areas you need to actually have flags.
I feel like if you are playing with 6 players, now you can play teams, and that will certainly make it easier because you're going to get more questions right. But if you are playing with 6 players and using the cannon fodder, which you have to if you're playing with 6 players, this game will never end. So,
yeah, because it says 2 to 6 players or teams, and the team play can accommodate up to 24 players.
Right.
I mean, with 24 players, I mean, you got more people on a team to discuss what the answer could be. Yes. So, but yeah, so it's being sold.
I thought some of the questions were really unique, and I love the fact it's all about American culture and American myths and things like that. But at the same time, I feel like, again, it's a game.
It's another trivia game. It's like Trivial Pursuit.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one we got is Crown of Emara. This is one we talked a lot about.
We talked about on the
deep
podcast.
Dive on the podcast.
We never did do a video on this one,
nope.
though. All right, so this is one. It is, I don't want to call it a worker placement. It's more of a worker rondelle. Only you've got 2 rondelles going. You've got your countryside and you've got your city location. Each one has a counselor in it that's moving around doing different actions. You're doing actions based on card play that allows you to move 1, 2, or 3 spaces for 3 times during the round, I believe it was. But you're scoring 2 different ways. You're scoring your population and you're scoring your citizenship.
Right.
But and each one of them scores separately. Your ultimate score is whichever's lower. So you can't just focus on one thing to get them way out ahead. You got to focus on both, which I like that mechanism. it keeps somebody from running away with just one piece. But I mean, it's an interesting rondel style. Like I said, not really worker placement, worker movement, action selection, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah, I think that's what it would be, is action selection.
Because you're going clockwise, but there are people you can pick up that allows you to go backwards or whatever.
You can do different things. Yeah. So not going to go into a ton of detail on this one. There are some great videos out there. We've talked a lot about it on the podcast. But yeah, very interesting game. It is going to stay in the collection. This is actually one of Jess and Mark's favorite games, if I'm not mistaken. So
they're the ones that turned us on to it.
Yeah. But yep, very, very enjoyable. So that is Crown of Emara.
Okay, the next one is a new one. This was one of the biggest hotnesses at hotnesses. Is that hotnesses a word?
I don't think so.
Let me know. Okay, so this is Cat in the Box. This is such a cool trick-taking game. I thought I'd seen every way you could do a trick-taking game. If you've seen our video of our pet peeves,
anyway,
you don't understand.
So, Cat in the Box, brand new trick-taking game. This is one where you have...
It's extremely unique.
It is very unique. And the first time I heard about this, I'm like, there's no way that could work.
Yeah, because we thought the crew was crazy, but this...
Yeah, cooperative trick-taking. This is right up there with, really, how does that work mechanism? So... This is one there's a deck of 9 sets of cards, 1 through 9, and you use numbers depending on how many players.
And this goes from 2 to 5.
So now here's the trick, though. You notice they're all black.
Suits.
There's no suits on any of these. Everything is black. So how that works is everybody has this little card here with them that identifies the 4 colors of suits. And then this is in the middle of the table, and it opens up to 1 to 9. Right there you go. And the other cards are over here. But anyway, so as you're playing cards, now mind you, there are 5 of each number. There's only 4 suits. So you see where there might be a problem already. So you're going to start the game with, everybody has one of these cards. You take your player pieces and put your pieces on each one of the colors, indicating I have that suit in my hand. So what's going to happen is, as somebody's leading off going, well, I'm going to make this a 3 of blue. They're going to put their token on the blue 3. The blue 3 can no longer be played. It's done. Well, the next person's going, well, I don't have anything that beats that, so I'll make this a blue 2. So they're going to put their marker on the blue 2. And then the next person comes along and goes, I'm going to make it a blue 5. So great, the blue 5 is out of commission. Well, gosh, I don't have anything that's going to beat a blue 5, but I really want this trick. So I'm going to say, I don't have any blues, so I take the marker off blue. I can no longer play blue. All I have left is the other 3 colors. I'm going to make this a red 1. Red is trump. Red is always trump. This takes the trick. But now the red 1 is blocked too, so nobody can ever play a red 1 again. So it is just really, really unique. Now comes the trick, though, is that person who played the red 1 wants to play a blue card later on. They can't. They've already declared they're out of blues. So it's just a really unique. I was shocked at how well this worked. And how easy it was once you wrap your head around
this. I think we've played this at 4 players, we've played this at 2 players, and it scaled pretty good. And the difference in the 2 player and the 4 player was the way the cards came out, because in a 2 player game there's always 5 cards left, and 3 of them go face up, 2 of them go down, so you kind of get an idea of what cards are not going to be played, so you can kind of figure out what cards, because you're going to get 10 cards at the beginning of the hand and you're going to discard 1. But in a 2 player game, it's going to be rare that there's a thing, what they call a paradox. In a higher player count, it's going to happen more often. And what that is, if you have cards in your hand, but say you have a 4 and a 5 left in your hand, and there is no place to play a 4 or 5, it's what's called a paradox, which means that round completely ends right then and there. That hand, that trick does not score, and then everybody counts up their points.
It is really interesting the way this plays out.
So yeah, we played this at Gen Con. No, we didn't play it at Gen Con. We played this at the retreat.
Yes.
And really, really liked it. We just played this last night at 2-player just to see how it played, and it scaled, I think, really well.
Very well. We never ran into a paradox.
No, we did not.
But we only had cards 1 through 5.
Close, and you always have one extra card in your hand too at the end of the round.
Because you're going to end the game with 1 card left in your hand. So yeah, it was very interesting. If you like trick-taking games, this might be one to check out. So yeah, it's a good one. So that's Cat
in the Box, and that's the deluxe edition, which is out now.
This is the one that's out now. I had to order it from BZA Games because I couldn't find it in any stores. I'm sure eventually it's going to be in the stores, but I did not want to wait.
So yeah, so this is basically the second printing of it.
Yes. Yeah, the first printing came out a couple of years ago in Japan. It was a Japanese game. So very interesting game though.
The next game we have is the very first game we played at this year's retreat. This is Clock is on wrong. This is
not did that on purpose.
Cloud City, and Chrissy actually played it and taught it to us, and it is a really cool game. Well, if you've ever played Tokyo Highway, this is a lot easier. It's not as frustrating.
Well, and what's funny is this one, we didn't even have any plans to play this. It was not on our short list.
Yes.
We get in there late on Tuesday.
Yep.
After driving down from Daytona Beach, and he's just kind of milling around, can't decide what he wants to play. And I finally said, here, this one looks good. And I pull it off the table and go set it down. And Chris happened to walk by and goes, oh, this is one of my favorite games. And sat down and played it with us. So that was a lot of fun. And we ended up finding it and buying it on the way home.
This is all about, you start with 2 tiles, which has either a green, blue, or brown squares on it. And there's at least 2 on each one. You're going to start off 2, and then you're going to take a building of the color. But you're going to get a building. So if I had this tile, I'm going to get a brown and a blue tower. The sizes are different. The brown are the tallest ones, the blue are the smallest ones, and then the green are in the middle. And you're going to place it on there. And basically, you're going to have a 3x3 grid by the end of the time. You're building this little cloud city, and you're trying to get it where, like, a blue one, 2 blue ones will connect with one of these little bridges, and there's different size bridges from 2 to 5.
2 to 5, no, 8 points.
No, spaces away.
Yeah, that might be.
I think it's like 2 to 5 spaces away. But you're going to connect them, but you can't connect if a tile's not underneath it. You can't connect that tower. And at the end of the game, once everybody has their 3x3 grid, you're going to score up points, and each one of these skyways is the points you're going to get. And yeah, so if I'm like that, I can score. Well, yeah, there we go. Nope, I still can't score that one.
Nope. Well, anyway, regardless, you're building all these towers up, putting bridges on them. No tower can have more than 2 bridges off of the top of it.
Yep.
It is just a really, and by the time it's done, it's so pretty.
Interesting how you have to build it, because you got if I put that there, I'm going to cut off. I won't be able to build that skyway.
Yeah.
Because now I've cut myself off, and you're going to have a lot of these buildings left on your thing that you don't have anything connected to because you cut yourself off because you didn't see it in the beginning. And it's one of those you got to really be able to notice what's going on from the beginning of the game.
Very, very interesting.
But it's really good. Cool components.
Yes.
Maybe the tiles are in good shape.
Yeah,
these are the one I'm worried about because they're a little thinner, I think, and they can bend. If they bend, they're done.
Yeah. All right, but anyway, that is Cloud
City. But a really good game.
Very fun game.
Not a game that's really talked a lot about. I know.
No, I think probably ought to do a video on this one because it is. I think not.
And please put the box on right.
It's a blue orange. I think that's one of the reasons I really like it. It's a blue orange game. I love it.
Okay, next is a game that a lot of people have played before. We've played the express version of this. We finally picked this up on our trip down to the Dice Tower Retreat, and that is Can't Stop. And I can say I will play this long before I ever play Can't Stop Express. I hate that game. I just don't like it.
I like it because everybody has to work off the same 2 dice. This one, you are rolling dice on your own and trying to move up the grid. You can see this. I don't know. But you're moving up a grid and you're rolling dice. You can only have ever what they call 3 runners. The white pieces are runners. And so you're only operating off of 3 numbers per turn. And if you roll something where you can no longer move or place a runner, then your turn's over and you've lost any progress you made. But you can always try to stop first and keep your progress by moving your pieces to those positions and then taking the runners back off the board. Everybody rolls their own dice on this one, unlike Express, where everybody's operating off the same 2 dice or same 5 dice.
This is more push your luck.
This is very much push your luck. Very fun little game. The board, I know the original board was a nice plastic board. The original board was a 1970s plastic board. This is now a neoprene mat where things can slide around a little bit, but it's so much smaller and so much easier to take places. But little wooden pieces, it's a beautiful little game. So yeah, really enjoy this one. We'll hold on to this guy for sure. He's going to stay in our collection for now. Yeah, fun little push your luck for 4 players. See, Express can be played with more than 4 players. That's the bonus of that one.
I'm not one of them 4 players.
Anyway, I am batting 0 here on putting box.
Maybe we should have a click
correct
counter that says how many box tops you put on backwards. Have to fix. Okay, that was Can't Stop.
Yep.
Next is another game we got as at the Dice Tower Retreat. As we've said before, I believe they have a game exchange. This game was left on the table because once everybody's gone around through twice and picked up a game, now these games are up there for free grabs if you want them.
Yeah, they just don't want to take them back.
And this is a game Katie had seen before, and at this point, if you touch a game, you have to take it.
Yes.
At the end after everybody's gone through. So they're just trying to get the games out the door. And this one Katie was looking at, so of course she had to take it because she picked it up. And this is Camelot the Build.
I remember seeing this one when it first came out, and because it was Camelot, it grabbed my attention. I never picked it up years ago, obviously, since we just now picked it up. But I mean, it was okay. You're building the city of Camelot with tiles. It's a tile placement.
Well, the board starts off with the outline of the castle walls and then the outline of the castle and certain little areas where only certain type of tiles can go into. And you're scoring points for the tiles that are adjacent to each other that have points on them. And certain cards might actually double those points and so forth. So it was kind of a blah game to me.
We're not keeping it.
This is Wotan Games.
I think we decided we're just going to flat out sell this one, didn't we?
Yeah, because this is.
I just don't see it coming off the shelf.
Game. I mean, the components are good.
Are
I mean, good chunky tiles,
thick tiles, and it's easy to explain and easy to understand. It was just not intriguing at all. Yeah. So I think this one is going to actually hit the sale pile.
But that's
anyway. That is Camelot.
The Build.
Yeah, Camelot the Build. I'm sorry.
Next,
I put it back on right.
Is another game that's been in our collection for a while, and we took it to the retreat just so Chris Yee could play it because he says it's one of his favorite games. This is Coal Baron, the board game, not the card game. This is a very hard game to find now.
Yeah,
apparently.
This has been in our collection for a while. All right, so this is one you are basically, it is a worker placement game. Everybody has 18 little workers that you are placing out around the mine or the town to do different actions. You can pick up coal cars to put into your mine that come with coal in them.
And they're different colors.
Yes, there's 4 different colors.
Depending on how far down the mine you go.
4 different levels of coal, from black, gray,
brown and yellow.
Brown and yellow, thank you. You can pick up money. You can, I'm trying to remember,
pick up jobs.
Orders. Yep, pick up jobs. You can secure transportation for your coal orders. You can, what am I forgetting?
Go to lunch.
Go to lunch. Well, yes. Or you can do actions in the mine.
Yes.
So the mine is what really makes this game. The mine is slightly recessed, well before recessed boards were a thing. Boards. Yeah, before dual layer boards were a thing. But you have a little mine car that slides up and down the mine track. And you're doing various actions, taking coal out of the mines to take it back up to the surface to put onto your order cards. So, and that, I think that is one of the things that makes this game so smooth is that action. But you've got also different actions you can do. If somebody else has already taken your action, that's okay. You can outbid them.
Yeah, you just put one more worker than that's already there.
So you're doing the action as you're putting your workers out.
Yes.
So you've already done that 10 action space. But now somebody else wants that 10 action space. They just have to put 2 workers there and kick your worker out to lunch.
Which is, there's a building on the board where you go to, and it actually has a knife and a fork on the sign on the outside, and a plate, I believe.
And a plate,
So we said it's the lunchroom, so you're going to lunch.
You're going to lunch. But it's just very interesting with the outbidding. Again, you've only got 18 workers to work with, and if somebody keeps taking your spots, you're burning through your workers pretty quickly. So very, very interesting game. We don't get to play it very often, but I am reminded why I like it as much as I do.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
So anyway, that is Coal Baron.
Next, we have a heavier box. Is Champions of Midgard. This is
another worker placement.
Another worker placement.
Yep. You are battling monsters. You're putting workers out to gather resources, to gather coins, to commit yourself to battle. You can pick up dice with which to go battle.
Which are your warriors.
Yep. So everybody gets, depending on the number of players, between 3 and 5 workers throughout the game, either to start or throughout the game. This is interesting because of the battle mechanism. You've got a number of different dice. We actually have the Valhalla collection, the Valhalla expansion in here too, so that adds even more dice to it.
We don't have the other. We do not have the other one, or whatever it was. I'm not sure.
That's right. But interesting game. Not one of my favorite worker placements.
Right. Yeah. The base game is so to us.
Yeah.
But with the Valhalla, I liked it with the Valhalla expansion because there's more to do and more dice.
Well, it's not so punishing to have your warriors killed.
Yeah, because now they're going to get you something.
Yeah, because as you go to fight monsters, you've spent your whole turn building up your warriors to go fight the monsters, but then the monsters are going to take them out, which is fine. That's what should happen. But then you have to spend your whole next turn building those the warriors back up again.
But with Valhalla, if they die, they're gonna die. But you're gonna get these little chits that represent the die, and you're gonna put and there's cards out on there that with these chits, each card costs a certain type of chit or multiple chits. You're going to be able to spend those chits to take those cards, which are going to have points on it and do different things.
Yes.
Plus, you have a commander die?
You have your commander die, your captain or commander, yes, that gives you extra bonuses if you roll the right thing.
The
I never did last game. Not once.
I did once.
Yeah, so interesting game. I like the Valhalla expansion for sure, and it will stay in our collection. I don't know that this is one of those games I don't think we'll ever play without the expansion.
No.
So, but yeah. But anyway, that is Champions of Midgard. Good Lord, that is a heavy box, isn't it?
Okay, so we're down to some groupings here. The first is Clank, the deck building. This is the OG of the Clank groupings. This is a deck building game where with a board where you're going down in the depths to find that artifact and bring it back up, and
first person out basically triggers the last couple rounds of the game. If you can't make it above ground before the game is over, then you're knocked out and you don't score anything. It is a neat, I don't want to call it a dungeon crawl, it's more of a dungeon exploration.
Yeah, it's a deck building dungeon exploration game.
Yeah.
Where it's kind of a race game. It's who can get down, get the highest artifact, and get back out before everybody else does, or before they get knocked out. Because if you get knocked out underground, like I said, you don't score points. But if you get knocked out and you're above ground, you at least get to score your points, but you just don't get that extra 20 points for making it back to the castle.
We have since gotten to play Catacombs, which is the newest iteration of this game.
That
we
was
really
crazy.
Enjoyed Catacombs. Biggest difference, honestly, the games are very, very similar. Biggest difference is the fact that you are building the board as you go.
Because you're laying
tile placement. It truly is a dungeon exploration. So
you don't know what's coming up on the next the next hallway until you lay.
So we'll keep this one though. I do enjoy it. God, it's heavy. I don't know why this box is so heavy, but yeah, that is Clank, deck building adventure. Why don't you pull out the other one?
The next one is
Acquisitions
Incorporated. We are currently playing this with Justin and Jackie, our son and daughter-in-law.
done 3 adventures so far, 3 of the 10,
4.
11.
I think we just finished the 4th one, I think. We play it like once a month.
Yeah, we're not getting very far very fast, but that's okay.
We have busy lives, they have busy lives.
All right, so we are, like I said, we're in the process of playing this one, so not going to give you a lot of spoilers. It plays almost identically to this, but things change up a little bit each month. You're building the map as you go.
Yep.
The concept is at the end you have a customized board you can play. We'll see. I don't know what we're going to do with it when we're done, but it's interesting. The pieces are nice.
We start with little bitty.
Yeah, you actually get minis
meeples.
in this one, not meeples. So
don't want to talk too much about it.
Highly recommend it if you have not tried it. I've heard that it is one of the best legacy games out there. And from everything I've seen so far, I would have to agree. It is very good. Like I said, we're not going to share a lot of details since it is a legacy game, but that is Clank Legacy Acquisition Incorporated. Fun game.
Okay, this next set is, I mean, I'm sure you're saying they're in the seas. Where is Catan? Well, here they come. And to put a little side note on, not all of them. We didn't get them all in for this video. We still have
3+ player.
We still have 3 more to play.
Yep.
So the first off is we're going to do the 2-player game of the Rivals of Catan. This is the deluxe game. This one I actually enjoyed this time around a little more.
Yeah, I enjoyed it
because I think I won. But the downfall on this one, I think that we were both experiencing here at the beginning is it's hard to get resources.
Yes, it is very hard to get resources.
And to get these buildings out. And the only way you're going to be able to get more resources is to be able to build the roads and to be able to build the towns so you can get more areas that gives you resources. And
it did finally come.
Yeah, it finally came after a while, but
forever.
Yeah.
I'm not real pleased with the rule book in this one. We had a really hard time trying to figure some things out in the rule book. So, I mean, it's a good game. And if you like Catan, you want to do 2-player, something that's a little faster and a little more streamlined, check this one out.
So I think we decided we have another game of this over in the travel collection, but it's not the deluxe version.
Right.
So, but I think we was talking about putting this one in the travel collection and selling just the the original non-deluxe version of it.
Just because we never play this and it takes up for a 2-player game, it takes up a lot of space for us.
I actually had to, which it still does have. I actually had to dust it off when we pulled it off the shelf.
I'm starting to. I can smell it. I can smell the dust on the box.
So yeah, so you can see how it sits on our shelf.
Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and pass this on. Well, this one, like I said, this one will go into the travel collection
because people know the name.
Yeah, and it is a good 2-player game. It's just not one that we play very often.
No.
So, but anyway, that is Rivals for Catan.
Next is the base game and its expansions. We have Explorers and Pirates, we have Seafarers, and we have the base game. We do not have Knights in Cities, I think it's called.
Yes.
Which is one that got the take that to it. So we've said it before, we're not a big take that kind of thing though. No. But we played this with our son. We played the base game of it, and then we put in Seafarers. We did not get Explorers and Pirates.
Explorers and Pirates though is mostly just modules.
Okay.
There are a half a dozen modules in it that just change up play slightly. So we decided not to play each of the modules for this one because we haven't been doing expansions.
So I actually won the base game when we played it the other day. I think it was the first time I ever won a game of Catan.
I think so.
And then of course Justin whipped us on Seafarers. Although you guys were pretty close together, I was like not even in the game.
Yeah, Seafarers is one of my favorite ways to play.
Yeah, because the map is bigger, and then you have to be able to sail across to get to the other islands and discover what's on the other islands.
I really like the Seafarers.
And we play. They show it as it's already set up completely. The middle is set up. The discovered island with the tiles face down, so that they're already out there. But we played it with the stack on the side, and as you discovered an area, you just drew the top one and put it down.
Yeah,
which I thought was a lot of fun. I had an island all by myself, and I still lost.
I mean, it's worker placement, it's city building, it's
Set collecting,
it's trading, there's a lot of pieces to this game.
Mm-hmm.
And it is,
and it's one of the big games that really blew up the hobby.
Yes. And it has earned every bit of its popularity.
A lot of people give a bad, what am I trying to say?
A bad rap.
Because it's so old. It's like, you still play Catan? Yeah, it's a great game.
Yeah. It's one of our son's favorites, so we play it every once in a while. So anyway, that is Catan. Yeah, I'm gonna bury myself over here.
The next is one of the Catan histories. So we've kind of, some of them are listed as
there's Catan histories, names. There's Catan. We pulled
adventures.
Out everything that was based in the Catan world because we wanted to be able to compare all of them at once.
Basically, if it said Catan on it, it's in here.
Yes. So
this next one is part of the Catan histories, and this is Struggles for Rome. This is the one we didn't really care for.
I thought it went on way longer than it should have.
Yes.
These are ones where the board is preset for you already.
Yeah.
There, you don't build the board as you go. This is the way a lot of these other ones are.
Games are.
But these are, the board is already, it's a solid board. And then each player has two different types of armies that they are moving around the board to try to conquer cities. Now, you're not conquering cities from each other.
Nope.
So it's not really a take that type of thing, but you are conquering cities
but somebody else cannot take it.
Right. You're conquering cities based on the number of towers around it, and that's how much strength you have to take them over. So, but you're losing travelers as you go, or you're losing armies as you go. It just, I don't know. It just didn't hit a note with me. I feel like we have so much Catan. This is not one that struck for me.
Right. And I don't think it would come off the table.
I think all three of us felt that same way.
So I think we decided we were selling this one.
I think this one's just going to go in the sale pile. I don't know that I want to put it in the other room because, again, we have base Catan over there. I don't know that we need to have a huge selection of Catan games over there.
Mm-mm.
So I think this one might just hit the sale pile.
Yep.
So, but yeah, let's Catan.
Struggles for Rome.
Struggle for Rome. Okay.
The next one is just from the Catan world. This is the Settlers of the Stone Age, which is another one that's really hard to find now.
Yes.
This is also a preset board. You can see how often we play Catan. This is another preset board, but it's interesting on this one because you are constantly trying to move to make new camps, to get more numbers, to get more resources, to build different stuff along the outside of the board, to be able to do other stuff, like to move farther, to
you only ever have 3 camps in this? 4 camps. Each player has 5 camps.
Okay.
So you have 5 camps, 2 explorers. But the goal is you've got to get across the continents in order to get points. Because the camps aren't what are giving you points. It's something else. So you're picking points up off of different tokens and other places in the board on the board.
So upgrading your different things.
Your stuff. Yep. So you are constantly, like Settlers of the Stone Age, you are
picking up the tiles.
You're moving from one continent to another over different land masses. And so you're constantly moving to follow your explorers, your camps, or your nomads. So it's very interesting in that where everything starts in Africa, by a third of the way through the game, Africa is a desert. You have to move out into other parts of the world to find those resources still. I've enjoyed every play we've ever done of this one. So this one is definitely staying in the collection. I really enjoy this one.
Yep.
So yeah, but that is Settlers of the Stone Age, Catan.
So Catan also has adventures, and this one is Elasund, the First City. This one is you're basically like any other Catan, you're building a city.
Only this time, instead of building multiple cities, you're focused in one city.
One area, yeah.
You are literally building the first city in the Catan.
So you're putting that building spell, get stuff. So you're you're rolling dice, and you're gonna on the side of the board it has numbered for ships, and your ship is going to move that way. And whatever row is on is the row that's going to get activated. So if you have buildings that are going to give you stuff, you're going to get stuff at the time.
Yep.
If a pirate rolls, which is the number 7 on the dice, just like the robber in Catan, you can place that anywhere you want on the 1 through 12 boats, or 2 through 12.
And then anybody in that row
who has a victory cube, which is a tower, loses that many cards.
Yes, you have to give up cards. This is one where, like I said, it's the different tile sizes, different building sizes. Each building gives you different resources. The boat typically gives you your resources. To
build the buildings, you got to put out permits.
You got to have
the permits. Some permits cost money, depending on the number on it.
So I think it's an interesting game. We never really talked about what we're going to do with this one, because I know you said you don't necessarily enjoy it.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Okay.
But, I mean, it can stay. I mean,
this one will stay for the time being.
I think the point we was looking at is, would it come back off the shelf? We played it because we're playing for a collection.
I would really like to get this. We've played it 2 or 3 times now. But that being said, we've had it for probably 7 or 8 years now. I would really like to get a 4-player game of this one in.
Okay.
So, I did enjoy
We'll play it
this
4
one.
players and then decide.
Yeah, I enjoyed this one more than the other. So we'll see. But anyway, that is Elasund, the First City, Catan Adventures.
And then the last game we have for today is Catan Candamir. This is the one where there are, depending on how many players, you're putting out different little tiles around the board.
Your exploration tiles.
And everybody starts in the middle at the main town, and then you're on your turn, you get a look at 2 tiles out there and decide which one you want to go to, and then you put your own disc on that tile. Now nobody else can go to that tile. And then you've got to journey your way out. The way you move, you're not rolling dice to move. You have cards that are going to show you what happens in what direction you're going. So if like I'm trying to go this way, I'm going to orient my cards the same way the whole time. And then the arrows that I pick depends on what happens. So nothing's going to happen, so you just move the next one. Another one, you might come across a woodsman where you've got to do a challenge for strength, and if you win it, you get wood. If you lose it, you lose a point of health or stamina.
Yep.
And stamina is how many cards you're going to draw to move. So if you have full health or full stamina, you get to move 4 spots.
Yeah.
And then you get a character. So this is kind of like a role-playing game too.
Yep.
So you start off board. The character goes in the middle, and it tells you what you have for the different skills that you're going to need to do against these guys. And some of the tiles you're going to pick up has an E on it, which is experience, and you get to raise one of your skills to be able to do things more often, or you're going to find resources you need to build things for the town folk that want it to score points. You can find herbs and mushrooms to build potions, and honey to build potions that can do different things like heal yourself or add +2 to any of your skill checks.
Yeah.
Or you can make the mead to make other people lose
stamina. You're basically getting
so basically it's a race to get your 10 cubes. As you build things, you're going to take the cubes off. And if you have the most of certain things, you're going to get extra points down at the bottom where you're going to put cubes. And the person who gets all 10 cubes onto the board wins the game.
Yep.
So I think I like this better because of the whole point that you're building a character. Because these boards are really cool. Because like I said, they show you the different stuff. You can find like this one on the charisma. If you find the bare teeth, you put a 2 there. Now you got a +2 to your charisma skill, plus whatever your skill is on your character.
And the board is, I mean, that's the whole board.
That's the whole board.
Now, that being said, I think they missed an opportunity because the back of the board should have totally been a different map. But
yeah, this side here is showing you the people and what they want, and you got to build from the top down. So if I wanted to build a window dressing, and that's the way the board was set, the only person I can sell the window dressing is to this person here because it's the top one. And up here it tells you how to build everything.
everything.
Then you have these little shops on there where if you go there, you get that resource.
Yeah. So, but yeah, very interesting game. I did like it.
Yeah. So I like I said, I like this one better.
And
than
I did like
the
it.
other one.
God, they're dusty though.
Because we haven't played them in a while.
We need to get a dust rag out before we put these back on the shelf.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So anyway,
so this one's staying. Like I said, I really like it. It doesn't come off the shelf, but I forgot how much I liked it. So
how enjoyable it is. Yeah, I think they're both.
And I think this one, a lot of people say it's not that good of a game, but I mean, we're from a role playing background, so I think that's why I like it more than I liked Elasund.
Yeah, I liked them both. Mm-hmm. I like these, and there's just enough strategy in them. A little bit of luck involved. I like the fact that in traveling on this one, you had a decision to make.
Yeah.
So I could go try to fight that bear, maybe get injured, but I could go the other way, but it's going to take me longer to get there.
Yeah.
So I like that. So great game. So, but anyway, that is episode 15. We're about halfway through the seas, maybe a little more than half. We do have 3 more Catan based games. We're hoping to get in for the next one. We'll tell you all about those next round. But yeah,
got some good games coming up for next time.
I think we've got some great games coming up in the next couple. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, that's it for today.
So until then, we'll see you at the next one.